there are certain businesses, especially in creator domain, if creator is, for example, not there anymore, like plane crash, something happens, the entire business can fall down.
Which are the most important AI tools that you guys use? Whenever Ranveer makes a video, what kind of spike do you guys see?
App crashed.
App crashed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Level Supermind is co-founded by Ranveer Arabadia of Beer Biceps, co-founder of Shebang Harshal Kardia, as well as Ayush Anand.
पिछले 2.5 सालों से मैंने इस ऐप पर काम किया है। ये दुनिया की फर्स्ट माइंड परफॉर्मेंस ऐप है और हमने एक वर्ल्ड क्लास टेक प्रोडक्ट बनाया है।
Company that's making mental health cool and relevant again.
What I want to understand is how do you cultivate such a large user base? What do you think is a fair budget to build an app? Mental health is a problem that is both identified and unidentified.
Yeah.
If it is identified, we know how to tap into it. My question is, A, are you tapping or are you trying to tap into the unidentified segment?
We need to build, yes, from India to the world, but we're also building for India.
Because of which you've been able to get how many downloads?
Million downloads, million plus with 75,000 paying subscribers.
Is this market growing? How price sensitive the Indian market is? What is the power of YouTube marketing and how has it helped you?
Ayush was one of the first, actually the second member of our team, joined in as intern and very quickly elevated to co-founder.
Intern to co-founder?
Yeah.
Bro, that's one hell of a promotion. Then what about market research? Did you do some market research or did you just start building?
Our biggest mistake was
Hi guys, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being at the podcast. This is a very special podcast because of two reasons. I've got two friends. I don't know you much, but I know Harshil very well because I've been hearing about him from all my friends. Shebang is like a very, very big deal in my entire circle. In fact, Anushri keeps talking about you, saying that, Harshil is just getting so many employees to work together, is building such a complex structure. Here we are struggling to manage 30, 40 people. So my entire circle is very much inspired by you. And I am inspired by Ranveer. He's been like a brother to me. We had him at the pod also. And that was extremely valuable. So Ranveer was all about social media. But today, I want to make it entirely about product. How do you build a product from scratch? How do you empathize with the users? And then take it to the market and then eventually scale it? Because I know for a fact that building an app is not so easy. And for the record, I tried building an app. In fact, we tried building an app at thinkschool multiple times, only to realize that we are making some fundamental mistakes because of which it's only resulting into a cash burn. In fact, there's also this facade that if you want to solve a problem, just build an app, right? So today what I want to do is decode the most important aspects of Level Supermind, because of which you've been able to get how many downloads?
million downloads, million plus with 75,000 paying subscribers.
1 million app downloads and 75,000 paying customers.
And Google Play's App of the Year.
Google Play's App of the Year.
In
Congratulations.
2023.
So what I want to understand is how do you cultivate such a large user base? First of all, build the right app, take it to the market, cultivate such a large user base and have paying subscribers. Because we're operating in a world where, if I'm not wrong, Netflix in India, from what I last checked, they had only 5 million paying subscribers, right? And that speaks volumes about how price sensitive the Indian market is. And in this price sensitive market, mental health is an even smaller market because most people don't even know that they have mental health issues. In such a market, if you've been able to build a paying subscriber base of 75,000 users, I know for a fact that you've done something absolutely right. And today, I just want to decode that. So shall we get started?
Yeah, for sure.
Got it. So guys, I just want to start with the first question, which is, how did you find a gap in the market?
So I'll go first at the start and then Ayush had a very, very important role in that. So we started with understanding first, actually when Ranveer and I sat down initially, there was the thought that we need to build something. There was a theme that I had spoken in one of Ranveer's podcasts. I was one of his first few guests on his English channel and had coined that time that I'm building a services company that is going from India to the world and bringing the best of the world to India.
Okay.
And then as a business builder, I felt like that's my thematic across businesses to build. So that's when we were talking and we said that, look, actually this space of yoga, meditation, mindfulness has so much wealth in India that we need to really be able to build a global product. And this is a category in which we have a right to win because we have the wealth of knowledge, we have the wealth of practitioners, and we have the ability to build great technology. So that was at the, blue sky level, that this is where this product has a right to win. And that's when Ayush, Ayush was one of the first, actually the second member of our team, joined in as intern and very quickly elevated to co-founder.
Intern to co-founder.
Yeah.
Bro, that's one hell of a promotion.
So,
Okay.
yeah, he had a huge role to play in really defining the product. And at the genesis level, that's where it was. And that's where Ayush's story comes in.
Yeah. The start was with identifying an opportunity. Right?
Opportunity.
The opportunity was to consolidate the wealth of Indian knowledge and taking it to the globe. And then we started our product thinking. From our insight, we went into breaking down the problems, and then we started building.
Got it. So you started with the macro, which is you
Yeah.
want to build a product from India to the world.
Correct.
And you just happen to discover one important product that you
Yeah.
can take to the world, which happens to be meditation.
Correct.
It was also, I think, for each one of us, we were in our personal journeys of growth.
Got it. Can you throw
and-
some light on that?
Yeah, like for example, for me, between 2018 to 2021, it was 3 years of an everyday meditation practice, and I was seeing my ability to handle things increase significantly. So between 2018 to 2021, I was managing from 100 people, I was managing 500 people, and I was seeing my stress levels reduce.
Reduce.
Yeah, I was seeing that my ability to handle more variables is increasing. So I said that there is a role of this meditation in. I was seeing the ability to handle more. I was seeing the ability to process faster. I was seeing the ability to focus more. All of these things was playing a role in my life. Ayush had just come out of a Vipassana program. Ranveer was also, of course, publicly speaking about his own meditation journey.
Yeah.
So we knew that this is something that is binding us.
Got
it's,
it.
It's not just that we said, it was also deeply personal that I felt for sure, Ayush felt for sure, Ranveer felt for sure, the impact on our own lives of a practice that can help increase the performance of your mind and help significantly increase your mental wellness. And we said that we need to double down on this. We need to build, yes, from India to the world, but we're also building for India.
Got it.
From India to the world fundamentally also has first serve India, because if you want to go from India to the world, you need to be able to add value to India.
From
Got
a
it.
personal story, right? I studied in IIT Madras. I was having like great life, and then COVID happened. The entire momentum of life went vertically down. It was very bad for me. And then Vipassana happened. So I had a very burning problem of, let's say, too much confusion, too much mistakes I have done in past. All that things started surfacing, and then Vipassana as a tool came into my life. Went for 10 days. I was 22, 23 that time. I saw real world changes, and that gave me the confidence that yes, why meditation knowledge is not accessible, right? The pain is real and the solution was real. And then life happened, right? I saw his podcast talking to Ranveer, and we just connected. So overall, it does solve problems. We'll discuss during the process, but yeah.
Got it. So the first checkpoint was you being in a problem,
Yeah,
using meditation to get over that problem,
correct.
and eventually also seeing an enhancement in the way you operate.
Yeah.
That was the common binding factor.
Yes.
Then what about market research? Did you do some market research, or did you just start building?
Initially, we started doing a lot of desk research, which is that, globally, this is the market, this is how many people download, this is the TAM, all of these, SAM, TAM, fancy words which were put on a presentation saying, it's such a many billion-dollar market. These are the top apps globally. This is how many users they have. But fundamentally, they're all numbers. They're not solving for a real consumer. And we also actually deluded ourselves, I would say, because we did a research, but through somebody else.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
There was a bunch of students who were doing a research on Indians using Headspace.
Okay.
So we kind of relied on their research to understand, what we could be solving for. But that was not real. And then once we started, I would say our biggest mistake was that we didn't go to market fast enough. So we tried to over-intellectualize. Okay, we're going to build this product. But the day we went to market is when the real feedback started, because that's when real consumers started coming back to us and telling us, I like this. I don't like this. I like this is where this button is placed. I like this content. I don't like this content. So one of the journeys on building an app-based product is, I would say, the number one lesson that we've discovered is go to market as fast as possible.
Yes, very
Got
important. I think we learned a lot, but a year we took to overthink fundamentally, ki TAM, SAM, all the investor way of thinking.
Yeah.
It did. I don't know if it helped us. When we're near consumer, it helps us more. And
Yeah.
right now we focus on velocity, right? Go to the market fast.
So one of the practices we have in the company is that every member of the organization, and we are give or take about 25 of us, every member of the organization has to speak to 5 consumers every week. So it creates a consumer first mindset.
True.
It ensures that we are solving for the consumer, and for that we built out our own proprietary tech, which is a consumer calling portal where you have a roulette system, like a round robin system, where I get a customer. I get 2 kinds of customers that I talk to. One is a customer who is a premium customer and uses us a lot, and then one is a free customer who is on the verge of turning into a premium customer. Yeah. Then we've also done cuts of premium customer who doesn't use us a lot and a free customer who uses us a lot. So we break that down and try to understand the different cohorts so that we are able to understand really what we can solve for them. Yeah. And one of the things that consumers keep coming back to us with is that typically all our consumers, a large majority of our consumers are first jobbers, and they are in the IT sector, they're in the finance sector, they're facing immense stress in their work lives. And the feedback that we constantly get is my anxiety levels are lower by undertaking this practice, my stress levels are lower, and I can sleep better. And fundamentally, we're trying to solve that for consumers. Can they have a good night's sleep? Can they not feel anxious in their everyday life? And can they, after that, increase the performance of their own contribution to whatever they're doing, and therefore contribute better to life as a whole?
Yeah.
So the first lesson that comes out of the story is that do not over-iterate. If you want to over-iterate, be close to the customer, talk to them, take their inputs, and then build your product rather than doing market research through presentations and McKinsey style market research, basically.
One more thing we would like to add.
Yeah.
There's something called mom test.
Test.
Yeah, very interesting. See, talking to user is also a skill. It's like archaeology. If you dig too deep, you break the specimen. If you don't dig too deep, you don't get anything, right?
Oh, that's a very interesting way to look at it.
So this mom test is it's made by engineers for engineers. Remove leading, lagging questions.
Can you give me an example of how you do mom test for your product?
Yeah.
So for example, we have this user right now at this scale, we have this user calling platform. Let's say we want to solve for 3 matrix, right? We want to solve for, let's say, retention, for example. We have a micro matrix, let's say D7 retention, for example, just say.
Sorry, can you please
D7
simplify
retention.
that?
So you have
I'll simplify it.
Bro, IIT का मैं नहीं हूँ bro. तो
ठीक
मेरे
है,
को थोड़ा
ठीक है.
simplify
और simple
करके
कर देता
बताना
हूँ मैं.
पड़ेगा.
Let's say we want to solve for one problem, retention problem. कि
Okay.
user day 1 में फिर day 7 में भी वापस आए.
Okay.
That's the problem you want to solve. Very specific.
अच्छा, तो day 1 और day 7 में वो वापस आए.
हाँ, day 1 के बाद day 7 वापस आए और भी आए क्योंकि लोग छोड़ देते हैं day 1, day 2, day 3 में.
ठीक है.
If that's the problem, we need to design questions in such a way that we understand कि जो user आ रहे हैं वो क्यों आ रहे हैं और जो नहीं आ रहे वो क्यों नहीं आ रहे. Like if they are not coming and why they are coming, right? Doesn't ask you question like will you pay for it, all those questions. It asks for questions like what's your lifestyle? What's your alternative solution? Why are you not coming? It's very holistic.
So the why you're not coming comes much later.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's your, what time of the day would you make time for this? What are some of the other things that are pandering for your attention? So you're not asking the question, you're understanding about that consumer's life. What's your routine like? What other apps, what's the first 2-3 apps you open in the morning? Especially in market research, and how we are taught is, or rather the mind is lazy, that I will ask, hey, do you watch this podcast? Why do you like this podcast? Why don't you like this podcast?
Yeah.
Etc. Right? So it's how we are trained to think. But if I really want to know about and add value to that user's life, I need visibility on all the things apart from my product, so that I can know where exactly to fit my product in.
Higher empathy from a product POV. I mean, Level has a competition from Instagram, if we see carefully. Maybe YouTube, because they are consuming my time. So we can see a user. Mom test helps you put a, camera over their head and see their life.
in an unbiased manner. That actually makes a lot of sense, man, because in a way, we kind of replicated without actually knowing the terminology. I'll give you an example for the same. So we wanted to understand what is the ideal length of our video. And when we speak to people, initially our questions were like, how
What's the
long
ideal
do you,
length? Yeah.
kitna
That
time
won't
dekhte
answer
ho?
your question.
And then people said 10 minutes, 12 minutes, theek hai. Some people said 40 minutes. So we were like, dude, this is not making any sense. And then we said, okay, let's take 25 minutes as our sweet spot because it takes 25 minutes to explain an important concept. But let's ask a better question. When do you watch our videos?
Very good.
And when we started to ask this to our people, they told us that we watch it while eating something. We watch it at the airport. And if it's a podcast, recently somebody put out a post saying that I had a flight which was 2 hours, 30 minutes long. And I watched your podcast, which was 2 hours, 15 minutes long. So I had a great flight. So then you understand where do you fit into the user's life.
Yeah.
The second thing that we understood is that when people watch our content, if they are not watching our content, they're actually watching something else, which also lasts for 25 minutes. For example, people tend to watch Office over and over and over again because 20-25 minutes episodes. They watch Friends, 25 minutes episodes. They watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, 25 minutes episodes. So just like you said that your competition is Instagram or YouTube, for us, our competition is with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Office and Friends. So we realized that our hypothesis was 25 minutes and it's coming out to be true. And we know exactly what is our user journey. So we also know a good upload time that if we upload it at 7:30 odd, we will be able to cover a wider spectrum of people who have dinner while watching our content.
Yeah.
This is so interesting, man. So what are the most important insights that you uncovered while you did the mom test for your product and how did you use that to improve your product?
When we started, we just launched with certain meditation, like good to go product, right? We can charge for it, good to go product. And then we started calling users. Few key insights were very clear, right? First was they needed hand holding from day 1 to day 7.
Okay.
In terms of in a course structure, like coursify me the meditation experience rather than giving me pizza le lo, burger le lo in a way, right?
Okay.
Second key insight was, can we have it in a regional language? Can you do this in Hindi or can you do this in different languages? Depends, right? Third was which we do it regularly, so we get more insights. Now we are getting insight that we want to do more of mantra meditation, for example, right? So when we talked, we got these 3 key insights and we started building product in that direction. And we executed and things.
I think one of the things that we did try to, when we looked at the global competition, we were building as global competition. Now, this is a bit of geeking out on the science of meditation. Okay, so there's 2 parts of the science of meditation. It's a fantastic book, Richard Davidson and Daniel Goleman, called The Science of Meditation. And fundamentally, the thesis of that book is that in 2 weeks of a regular meditation practice, you will start to see reduced stress levels. 2 more weeks, that's total 4 weeks, you will start to see increased focus levels. And if you perhaps do a practice for 4 years, you will see changes in brain traits and brain functionality. So they've studied that over 40 years and they've put that down. When we were looking at the global landscape, we were kind of trying to be like them. So
like Headspace
or Calm. And they actually all follow only a single style of meditation called mindfulness. So mindfulness effectively is that I will have a voice guide you with music, and the role of that practice will be to bring you back to one place through the voice. And now we talk about us being a mental wellness and performance platform, which helps you elevate yourself through science and faith.
Got it.
So we were very okay with going there. And that was one of the other big things that our consumers taught us, saying that, okay, actually inside of this particular meditation that you've done, something to do with chakra, I'm getting inspired by the Om. So can you do something around the Om chanting? So we saw a trend in Gen Z audiences saying that help me actually connect to faith better.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a very interesting problem statement, right?
Yeah. So then we broke it down, and that's when we started building, our particular way of, we started building our meditations, that we started building them from the point of view of today, nobody wants to connect to a particular practice blindly. So we started decoding that practice, saying that, okay, actually, if you look at the Om mantra, which is the A-U-M, what it is doing to your body, speech, and mind, and how it is harmonizing you, and what, from a scriptural standpoint, what it stands for, why doing that every day would be good for you. And then we get people to chant, and then second day chant a bit more, and then third day, increase that.
Got it.
It was more like an experiential learning framework that we built, again in sync with the consumer.
Wow. So you learned that people want to do meditation, but they want to be guided until day 7. Very specific data point, which otherwise you wouldn't have found.
Yeah.
Number 2, you understood that it's not like people don't want to be associated with faith. They want help with connecting with faith. And number 3 is that they also want to understand the science behind every instrument that they're using in meditation. If they're using a certain category of meditation, they would want to know the science behind it,
Yeah.
which also becomes a persuasive tool for you to get users and make them stick to your product.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The other thing we understood is that they want to learn this from the best in that faith.
Oh, so you also understand who is supposed to teach
Yes.
in your app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we work with a lot of collaborators across industry to build this.
Got it. Guys, when somebody has to start with app development, and we've tried this multiple times, and we know that it's a very hectic process. So with somebody with very less capital, first of all, should they even think about app development? If
What is
yes,
defined very less capital?
very less capital would be less than 1 lakh rupees.
Don't do. I mean, see, it's very important to be near consumer first. Consumer will give you signals whether you want an app or not.
Got it.
I don't know why we have that entrepreneurial, it's a Mumbai thing, I don't know. We want to build tech, we want to build app. Consumer will signal you whether the time is right for you to build a tech. A simple WhatsApp group can solve a problem, right? To begin with, always make it so simple, like Excel sheet, WhatsApp, easy to use, easy to adopt, churn money, get data points. Once you have enough data points, then it makes sense to build an app. And in 1 lakh rupees, it's very hard to build a good app.
Got
right?
it.
It's very hard.
What do you think is a fair budget to build an app?
If we want to build a good app, right, that doesn't crash, secure technically, take around 50 L to 1 CR.
What?
About that.
That is
good.
insane.
If
And
you
then
can't
you'll also require a tech team to keep on servicing the app, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So what should be that budget?
Depends on the founder also, right? If founder understands tech, you can reduce cost by hiring interns or mid-level person and then optimizing the process. But take a budget of, to begin with, right, 5, 6, 7 L a month on
Got it.
maintaining and running the app for sure.
Got it. So,
So
this
you're looking
also
at roughly 50 lakh on build and 5 lakh on maintenance.
Minimum sides all.
minimum.
Yeah.
Got
A
it.
good app.
I mean, and yeah, if you want to be well regarded, because if you want to be secure and you want to have the right kind of backend, you want to consistently enrich the backend, and you want to build world class.
Got it.
Yeah.
And this also gives you a very important lesson that do not directly go for app development. At least have 50 lakhs in revenue that's coming in for your product, or have investors who back you, which I think is the last option. Once you have proof of concept, you're saying, using simpler tools like Excel and WhatsApp, and only when you have a very firm hold over the concept, should you go into the app development?
Correct.
Does that
There
make
are so
sense?
many, yes. Learn automation, right? There are Zapiers, there are so many tools, make.com. Life is very easy, right?
Can you just give me a few examples and walk me through these simpler tools, cost-effective tools which people can start with if they want to build an app to solve a problem?
To build an app or to solve a problem with help of automation?
I'm saying to solve a problem without building an app.
So there are, for sure, use Excel. It's very good. WhatsApp groups. There are tools like Zapier, which can automate your, let's say, mailing thing, all the marketing related.
Can you please elaborate on Zapier?
Zapier is an automation tool. You can click on it. It can help you automate repetitive tasks. For example, sending emails to someone if they are signing up, all that stuff. There are a lot of automation that's possible. So first you put a person who does it manually. Then you will figure out what are certain things that can be automated, right? And then you can use tools like Zapier, make.com.
WhatsApp is actually very interesting because we started our communication masterclass through WhatsApp only.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, Meesho started with WhatsApp. Do you know this?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Meesho started as a WhatsApp group, guys.
Yeah.
And they solved for WhatsApp group first. and then they realized that this is just too big to handle. So we need an app, and only then they went to an app. So in Bangalore, with so much money coming in, Meesho started with WhatsApp. With very less money, for us, WhatsApp was the best tool. More so because both Parsh and I are not techies. So we said, let's use only that technology which we understand, and that was WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Like we could have done, for example, unlisted YouTube channels. We didn't do that.
Okay.
We did, we could have built out a Excel with unlisted YouTube links of different meditations. Then we would have reached here only, because we would have understood that the user wants a seamless journey.
Got it.
We would have understood that user wants a track of how consistent they were. We would have understood that user wants variable rewards. So all of that kind of building to an app framework, we would have arrived. But if we were to do it back then, we would have basically probably just done it that way, and then tried to, also sense and test the market. How much are people willing to pay for this if I position it this way? And then could we have built a company out of it?
Notion is also a great tool.
Yeah, Notion is a great tool.
Or I think LMS is also something that you could have used very easily, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So the first part, which is prototyping, be close to the customer, talk to the customer using the MOM framework, right? MOM test, and then use that feedback to build a better product. And once you're very sure that you will be able to generate 50 lakh rupees to 1 crore rupees in revenue, only then you should build an app with the perspective that you will be able to sustain your business. Not that you will make money, but you will sustain the business, and hopefully you will have scope to grow, and then you will grow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Great. Guys, now I want to dig deeper into your app building process and how did you grow your user base? Because there are so many apps out there, but not a lot of these apps get visibility. In fact, when it comes to Instagram Reels also, there are so many AI tools that are getting discoverability through Instagram Reels. But then that's also something that's being flooded in the market to an extent where not all great AI apps or AI tools get great visibility. So for you guys, I want to understand, after you built the app, and since it was so capital intensive, how did you go on to market this app in such a way that you got a healthy amount of users, but not so many users that your app couldn't handle? And then how did you strike that balance between marketing and prototyping?
Yeah, so we at first, of course, our third co-founder is Ranveer, and Ranveer's presence allowed us to put the app in enough hands for us to start getting quality feedback.
Got it.
So I think that was the first thing, and I think this itself, once this journey goes along, it's a whole different conversation on how a creator can build a company, but it's company first, not creator first.
Can you go deeper into that?
Yeah, we run the company as it is that the creator is to serve the interest of the company, not the other way around.
What is the difference? Can you give me an example?
For example, just an example, right? There are certain businesses, especially in creator domain, if creator is, for example, not there anymore, like plane crash, something happens, the entire business can fall down.
Got it.
And
so means you have the creator's face on the the splash screen. You have the creator's face everywhere. Here the creator has a very strategic moat also, in terms of, yes, first initial distribution heavy from the creator. Second is that we've kind of built out the ecosystem of collaborators also through the fact that there's so many spiritual masters who are on the Ranveer show. We also then work with them to build content for the app. And then in the app itself, we are kind of talking a little bit about the content that is there. So it's an ecosystem loop that is being built, but the app itself as a brand, its personality, its tone, its its color scheme, everything is distinct by itself. It's in service of the consumer, not in service of the creator.
Got it. So key man risk is very low when it comes to level supermind.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. So you got in Ranveer. He made a great video out of it. You guys got your initial set of users. And then when the initial users came in, what did you have in your app? Like, what was like your go-to market situation?
So I would like to add one more thing for the users. There's something called PMF test, product market fit test, right?
Okay.
So there's this great article which is by Superhuman. It's a emailing thing. So they've designed that PMF test. I'll share you the link also. Just
Got it. What is it called?
So product market fit test, how do you quantify if your product market fit is there in the initial stage of 0 to 1?
Got it.
In the later stage, it's very easy. Just close your app. And if you get a lot of bad reviews, the product market fit is there. But in the initial stage, it's very hard. You have less user and everything. So in PMF, what you fundamentally do, PMF test, you identify out of 100 users, you identify a set of users who have done your AHA feature thing. Like the core feature, they have explored.
Okay,
Once
how do you identify that?
I mean, you are the creator, right? For us, the AHA feature as in the main feature is doing a meditation, for example.
So if they've completed a meditation, that means they've stuck an aha moment.
Got it.
To begin with, AHA moment changes with time, right?
Got it.
So we had list of, let's say, out of 1,000 downloads, 80, 90 people have done your AHA feature, right? Put a mail to them, call them. Step 1. And there are set of questions you need to ask. First question is this only. For example, tomorrow this app is not there. Tell me whether you will be very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, or not disappointed at all, right? There will be most likely in the start, the split will be in the later two options, right? Ignore all the people who said ki we will not be disappointed at all. Like,
Okay.
don't serve them, be ruthless.
Okay.
Now focus on, this is the beauty of product. You need to be ruthless with your TG, then only you make money in beginning. Now focus on people who said they will be very disappointed and will be somewhat disappointed. People who will be very disappointed, we need to double down our communication feature in that direction, because we have figured out some fit there. And people who will be somewhat disappointed, we need to ask them, how can we make it better for you? So you get a directional product roadmap. The metric to aim for is to hit 35% out of 100 on very disappointed.
That is amazing. So 35% people who are who will be
Who
extremely
hit the
disappointed.
aha moment?
Okay.
So out of the people who hit the aha moment, 35% need to say that tomorrow if this product shuts down, I will be very disappointed.
Got it.
Yeah.
So just to simplify this in the context of a video, because that's something that everybody will find relatable. If I see that 10% of the people are completing my podcast, which lasts for about 2.5 hours, I know that those are my core users.
Yeah.
Then if I get the data, I should call them up and I should ask them this question. How disappointed will you be if tomorrow this podcast goes away? Then pick those people who will be extremely disappointed and then talk to them about why. So what are the questions that you would ask the set of users who say that they will be extremely disappointed if your app disappears?
Fundamentally, it's a subtraction problem. It's better to know what not to ask, right?
Got it.
Don't ask leading, lagging questions. Your next question depends on the previous question. So questions come out very naturally. What you can do is, as a CTA, use Gemini and prompt it like, give me mom test questions for this TG who are very disappointed if my app goes away. I need to understand where to double down on. That's my intention.
Got it.
Because we need to know our strengths and products and double down there. We can't serve everyone, right? We need to double down. So get insights on where to double down. And the other user, which is somewhat disappointed, right? That's your area to improve. Same prompt you can use to figure out what areas to improve. I will give you the PMF questionnaire, which we have made productized fundamentally through Google Sheet. I'll give it to you, put in the link, and you can fill it and you get a lot of data points, right?
Got it.
It also includes CSAT scores, PMF scores. It also includes NPS scores. All those things, we have productized it for all the ecosystem. I'll share it for the consumer. You can use it, no stress.
Perfect. So then after asking them, you improve the product.
Yeah, you get direction where to put effort. Yeah.
Got it. And then you double down on it.
Yeah.
In your case, it was Hindi.
Yeah.
It was
Meditation.
It was meditation.
It was mantra.
Sleep stories, double down.
Okay, it was mantra, sleep, anxiety also, right?
Anxiety is a end product. Like, it's reducing my anxiety.
Got it. So it was sleep, mantra, and also certain coaches that they wanted to
Yes.
be in the app.
Yes.
Great.
Then
And
it was like, let me keep track. How often am I doing it? Allow me to have streaks. Those kind of things started coming in.
Indian users are very demanding, right? So we are mixing up all the demands of different timelines here. But that built our product roadmap journey. What to do, what not to do, right? And from there, your product ops journey.
Yeah, in fact, this is a very important point, because when you're a creatively driven founder or if you're a founder who believes that I fundamentally know that I can solve many problems, how do you prioritize them? Right? So like this extremely disappointed, you listen most to the extremely disappointed people. What you're getting most signals on, you will be first on your product development roadmap, because you'll have finite coders. You'll have finite amount of product you can ship out over the update after update.
Yeah.
So how do you prioritize what is to be done first? Like it can't be a discussion between team or between founders saying that, no, I think this feature should be there. No, this feature should be there. It has to be driven by consumer.
Okay.
So those signals coming will actually prioritize what needs to go out.
Got it. How do you prioritize that? Because if a consumer is saying that I want X feature,
Numbers.
Frequency.
So frequency of mention of that feature.
got it.
Put that data again in Gemini.
Like a Gemini kind of structure.
and
you
build
look
a
at
frequency table. The louder thing will tell you. And there's very interesting thing called RICE model.
Sorry?
RICE framework, which helps you prioritize.
Okay.
Right? I'll explain. It's a very, very solid product framework to prioritize. The formula is reach into impact into your confidence. How sure are you? Divided by your tech effort. Yeah, effort. It can help you prioritize anything in life. So, especially in product.
Got it. So this is RISE framework,
yeah.
RICE.
which is
Reach into impact into confidence score. How confident are you with your numbers? Divided by effort. I'll explain what is reach, impact, confidence score, effort.
okay. Let's go.
Reach fundamentally means how many people are you going to use it. Like if you're sending how many people, according to you in a scale of 1 to 5, how many people are going to use it, right? Impact is out of those people who are going to use it, how impactful do you think or your team thinks, you can take a weighted average, is the impact of the solution. Into confidence score is your biasness. I think I'm 30% sure, 40% sure about my numbers, right? Because we will have our bias. It captures that. Divided by put a ops team, they will give you the effort score in a scale of 1 to 5, how hard effort it is. So,
How many hours of design? How many hours of code?
and you will get a feature, first of laundry list of feature, frequency of the noise, and the RICE score at its side. That this two data itself will help you prioritize which to make next, which is higher ROI in terms of
कॉन्फिडेंस को कैसे मेजर करेंगे?
यार वो गट होता है ना, कि अभी फॉर एग्जांपल कॉन्फिडेंस आपको कितना है आपके नंबर्स पे. फॉर एग्जांपल अभी मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि
ये फीचर चलेगा अगर ये फीचर बनाए, then how confident am I that that particular feature will work?
Got it. So how do you rate that? How do you measure
intuitive
it?
है. फॉर एग्जांपल रीच यू नो राइट कि फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर डूइंग पॉडकास्ट राइट. फॉर एग्जांपल यू सेड कि जियो पॉलिटिक्स करता हो तो बहुत हो जाते हैं. सो यू विल पुट अ रीच का नंबर की 1 million, impact would be 20,000. How confident am I with my numbers? 80% I'm confident basis my life experience. So it captures that experience very beautifully. So put confidence number to the person who is experienced.
Got it.
It's very intuitive. Like in a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? Captures that. And effort is...
So what you do is you collect all the data through your mom questions,
Yeah.
and then you channel it through the RISE framework.
To prioritize RICE and frequency framework, right?
Okay.
You just मतलब अगर 50 लोग बोल रहे हैं कि हिंदी meditation चाहिए, then just
It by default goes top of the list.
हाँ,
Got it.
reach is higher because ask is high, impact is
And
high.
then it just has to pass the RISE framework test.
Yeah, to prioritize.
Perfect. So you now get a laundry list in priority.
Yeah.
कि number 1 ये feature बनाना है, number 2 ये feature बनाना है, and then that goes to the ops team,
Yeah.
which then work on it in such a way
Yeah.
that they keep on building features. They give you a timeline. Each feature gets rolled out, and then you do the mom test again if
Yeah.
they're satisfied.
Yeah.
Great.
And you constantly keep building that.
Yeah.
And like here, I think it's important to mention that, like for example, us, we built a team primarily with freshers.
Yeah.
You know, with a lot of new talent, aggressive talent, but new talent.
But Harshil, where can I learn all these things? Because if you're saying that you have...
thinkschool.
Watch the podcast.
But I am learning a lot from you guys. So I'm just trying to understand how do you hire and solve for this? Because this is something that comes out of acumen. And you guys have learned so much and you've experienced so much that you know the entire framework of how to take a product to the market and iterate in the best possible way. Now, as a startup, if I am, let's say, the finance guy, and I want to get hold of a product person, what do you think is the right terminology to search on LinkedIn?
Curiosity. I don't know. I mean, see, it depends.
See, I think also, you know, let's understand one thing. This is slightly unrelated point, but India is fundamentally a not as strong a product market, I would say, at least at the kind of products that we are building. Like
What do
you
you
were
mean by
talking about
that?
bootstrap 0 to 1.
Okay.
There's a lot of money at the top of the ecosystem. You'll have a PhonePe, you'll have a Flipkart, you'll have a Meesho, etc., etc. It's a lot of venture money.
Okay.
And then there's people like us who are, hacking it through, and we are building this way. And I see that will have its own journey. And there are different players in the ecosystem. So for our team, when we did have fresh talent, what we were hiring for was mindset, which a lot of entrepreneurs hire for, which is how aggressive is the mindset to learn, how much is the thirst to learn. And a lot of this we had to learn ourselves. So once we started learning this ourselves, we started inputting it to the team. And then ecosystem will have a role to play. So that's where we started working with Google Appscale Academy.
Okay.
We saw it online. We saw it that there was something called Appscale Academy, where Google is saying that, honestly, the way we saw it is that free mein apne logo ko upscaling ho jayega.
Okay.
Because we started working as framework, like whether you talk about the PMF framework or you talk about the RISE framework, and we started talking to our teams about these terms.
Okay.
And then what we saw is that a lot of these are basically institutionalized frameworks.
True.
So if institutionalized framework have to come into the DNA of our team, then are there partners in the ecosystem who are willing to do that?
Teach you that.
Teach us that, yeah. So Appscale Academy became that, which was, a multi-week program with understanding on product thinking, on marketing thinking, on retention thinking, on various aspects.
Okay, just give me a second. I just want to slightly elaborate on what Google taught you, which then you took back home and then you built the app
Correct.
into a much better product.
So the Appscale Academy helped us know the unknown unknowns, which I was discussing, right? A lot of things you cannot find on internet. Like there are a lot of niche knowledge about the app ecosystem, which you learn there. For example, there's something called App Store optimization. Entire India.
So most people know the word search engine optimization, SEO.
Yeah, I'm hearing it for the first time.
But there is ASO, App Store optimization, very, very critical for us to win.
We are in Mumbai. It was very hard for us to find a good ASO consultant.
It was very hard for you to find
a good ASO consultant, App Store optimization consultant.
So to just break it down, what is App Store optimization is basically optimizing my app to be well ranked on the App Store for multiple keywords, for multiple consumer cohorts. So what is it that I need to do that when the consumer comes to drink the water from the well, that they find me?
Yeah.
Just like I do it for a website.
Got it.
But for apps, it's a very, very
Specific.
technical skill. It has its own set of tools. It has its own set of protocols.
App Store optimization is very deep, very unexplored. One should build careers there. It's very important.
Beautiful.
So keyword, for example, keyword, I come to an App Store thing or Play Store thing. I write, I want to stress. For example, I write stress. I write problems. I don't, until I'm driven by branded channels, I write a problem rather than an app name. So the App Store optimization helps us. For example, someone wrote sleep story. The skill of ASO will help us rank on the top 5 of that funnel. And once in App Store optimization also, there are 3 layers, right? First, you see the icon, the name. Once you click on that, you see screenshots. Then you read description. You read so many other things there. And then you
Ratings.
install, right? So all that thing, App Store optimization, we got to learn from them. There's so many variables in that.
It became a priority in our company. The term App Store optimization became an entire department in our company after we went into this Appscale Academy.
People don't optimize for it. It's a hidden
Ratings became so important for us. Like ratings we were prioritizing it, but then we hyper prioritize ratings. So today we are 4.7 on the
20,000 reviews.
Yeah, 20,000 reviews, 4.7 on the Play Store. So we hyper prioritize that because it has a huge weightage on App Store optimization. Then that also, also these frameworks helped us become very consumer centric. So our tech team is evaluated at the end of the quarter on the rating on the App Store.
Oh, okay.
So, their evaluation, and we've seen that the moment there are crashes, then the rating goes down. So there's also a bunch of tools that we learned, inside that, which Google does provide, which is, benchmark tests. So for example, for the app not responding rate or the crash rate of the app, how do I benchmark against the top 5 apps in the world?
Play Console.
Play Console. So the Play Console allows us to do that, which is that, we look at our data and we benchmark it on a technical parameter versus the top 5 apps in the world in the category, or any top 5 apps in the world.
Okay.
So that's pulling in data, and that's kind of telling your technical team that, look, this is where I need to improve myself. So really that mindset, starting from this PMF mindset, NPS mindset, RISE framework, prioritizing, that's building. But when you're building, also you need to benchmark against the best. So that's where the Play Store console plays a huge role for us.
Understood. So the two things that I learned over here is that number one, it's very difficult to hire in India because the apps that have grown very fast or the apps that we use are the apps that have been built with venture money. So they had the liberty to fail a lot.
Yeah.
But these are systems that are meant to hyper optimize your
Yeah.
failures and success in such a way that you
Absolutely.
fail quickly, you succeed quickly, and you get to the product very quickly.
Yeah.
Number two is that you had the opportunity to engage with Google because of which you were able to uncover all these things.
Yeah.
Got it.
Lot of other things, like we would love to talk about other things.
Yeah.
Batao?
App Store optimization is just one. Then they also do something for selected startups who get into Appscale Academy. They do something called tech audit and UI UX audit.
Tech audit and UI UX
हाँ,
audit.
In that tech audit, they do something called security audit and in general hygiene of infrastructure audit. The pen test, all those things are there. They give you scores that you can solve and become better in your funnel.
So two questions. Number one, how do you figure out which are the variables that you're supposed to measure?
Yeah.
And number two, in your context, what did you measure?
Yeah.
So it depends on phase to phase of the company.
Exactly,
I think in
yeah.
0 to 1, focus on hitting PMF quickly, making sure your top frequency feedback are implemented fast, go in the hands of user fast. Right, what we learned in our process, it's very mathematical. For example, if my quarter goal is, for example, revenue, right? And I know because of experience, my revenue is a function of 4 variables, 4 KPIs: acquisition, conversion, retention, referral, churn. For example, these 5 variables. I'll know because I have experience.
But this is good. इसको document करते हैं.
हाँ ठीक है चलो.
बताओ,
Double A triple R बोलते हैं इसको.
Okay. Revenue?
No.
So there's this framework which we optimize, which is called AA triple R: acquisition, activation, retention, referral, revenue. Very famous, can be used in all businesses.
Now, if you break that down, at every stage of your company, you will want different things. So
Okay.
activation is a function of marketing, but activation, which is typically, where you start focusing then on the onboarding of the app, how easy it is to onboard on the app. And there's a related metric to that, which is daily first activity done.
DFAD.
Okay.
We designed this matrix. It's not an industry thing.
Okay. Then you should elaborate on that.
Yeah.
हाँ.
Okay. Let's start with acquisition, which is pretty simple, which is how easily are you able to acquire the customer?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Then there is activation, which is how easily is your customer able to onboard onto your app
And reach aha moment.
and reach an aha moment.
Yeah. So there are two
sticky
parts,
feature.
which is one is can I come on board, but the more valuable user is the one who comes and onboard and does a first activity.
Great. So if I were to simplify this in case of a course, it's like how easily is the person able to pay for the course and get to the LMS, and how easily is the person able to complete the course or complete the
Or the first
module.
chapter.
Okay, complete the first chapter. Got
Depends on the product. I mean, once you need to do your research on aha moment. For example, Facebook's aha moment was that when they downloaded the app,
7
they
friends.
made you send requests to 7 friends. So
Got
they
it.
noticed when a person in their initial interaction sends a friend request more than 7 people, they become long-term user. So all these things you need to figure out and
So
optimize.
for the course, is it that if I finish 1 chapter, or is I finish 2 chapters?
Got it.
Basically looking at the data from all the users of the course, what's the cliff point of differentiating between the users who do a lot versus the users who are just surface level users?
Perfect. After that, what do you do?
So, for example, in the given context, once we are clear with our acquisition, once we are clear with the activation, we focus on aha moment pushing. After that, we focus on retention. Now, retention is a very tricky, very interesting problem we are solving. We realized in app world, retention happens through 2 medium. One is retention through feature building. Another is retention through communication,
Reminder.
Okay.
right?
So retention through feature building is that the features itself make me want to keep coming back to the app.
Okay.
Streak, community, points, gamification, all the Duolingo's feature of the world.
Retention through feature and
Retention through communication.
retention through feature and retention through communication.
We are in the world where you need to be in the top of the mind.
And our product, our category is such that it's a hard problem for users to solve. So for me to remove time every day to come and do a meditation or come and do a yoga workout or to come and do a, listen to a sleep story, it's not, we are the anti version of Netflix in a way, because it's easy to watch Netflix, like it's easy to get sucked into a series. Whereas it's difficult to take out time every morning and invest in yourself.
True.
So a lot of our retention work is around how easy, how attractive, how elegant can we make it for the user from a feature standpoint, that they keep coming.
Got it. Can you give me some examples of the features that you incorporated to get people to come back?
Yeah.
Streak.
So like
Streak.
first we build a points and coin based infrastructure right at the bottom.
Okay.
Saying that, look, every time a user, and that actually started initially when the reason we called it level supermind was as you go up, you go up levels. So you get XP points and you go up levels. So like, right now we have an infrastructure of coins, but every activity that you do, you get coins. Then we were like, okay, fine, if you do the coins, how can I encourage you to do more with those coins? So then we started building a streak product, which is, we were trying to understand from a user that, okay, what is it that will keep you motivated? So if there is a payoff that I'm getting, if there is a way I can track it, those were some of the signals that were coming from the mom test framework. So we started building first a tracking framework, that how many of you are actually consistent. Then we started building a streak framework. Then we started building a leaderboard framework. Then we started building community framework. Then we also realized that, okay, Ganesh is, maybe Ganesh is doing it with Ayush and Ganesh is doing it with, somebody else. And 3 of them are in a competition between themselves. So can we start building things like that? So that's where our product thinking is going in terms of making it easier for user to stay consistent.
Got it. So to be able to do this, you need a very strong product team, right? Again, guys, my question, how do you hire for a great product team?
I mean,
We
build them.
a lot of this.
If you think first principle, I think product is very simple. Very simple. People overcomplicate, right? Macro level, your product should solve for reduced effort, reduced time, reduced bad feeling sacrifice, and you need to create love around the product. That's the macro level. Micro level, you need to somehow, with your brain or whatever first principle, make them invest more of their time and money with you. It's like relationship, right? Their sunk cost is too much once they are around.
Which is basically the hook model, which is you've got a trigger, which is in your case activation. It is investment, which in your case is
Time.
the points or the time that they've invested. And when it comes to variable reward, it could be leaderboard, it could be coins, it could be stuff like that, which keeps them coming back to the app in the first place. Okay, go on.
Yeah, the second part was like, if you can somehow get them spend more time using micro features, smaller features through notification, Gmail, be in their mind, subconscious mind, conscious mind, they develop certain affinity towards your product, and then you become a part of their life. Once you become the part of their life, things are more simple.
One of the things we did very early on was we used to do an exercise called product intuition.
Okay.
So, it's very important for your product teams to have an intuitive feel. Yes, you can have frameworks, which is like all of these frameworks that we're talking about. But it's very important for product thinkers to also have an intuition on what makes a good product. Like an editor will need to have a good intuition on what makes a good video.
True.
So one way to develop intuition is to spend time with the best of things. So if you're an editor, you'll spend time watching the best videos. Similarly, if you're a product person, you need to spend time invested with the highest rated apps at scale. So we'd have this activity where daily you'd want to look at 3 apps.
Like we have that framework built in where we developed product intuition activity. It's basically external benchmarking with the best app and certain question you need to ask.
Yeah.
For example, design team will even ask like why the curvature is like this, why the color gradient is like this, why this text font. Product person will like ask he,
What will make me come back tomorrow?
out of 80, 100 feature, what are those 20 features in this app that is high leverage for this app? So all these micro questions we analyze.
Specifically also on the onboarding. What did you like about the onboarding? What did they do ruthlessly well about the onboarding? Why would all of these things. So like really just spending time doing this product intuition was very important.
We would have done 200 apps, easy.
And this is long-term thing. You'll have to keep doing it.
Yeah, 100, 200
Great.
apps we did.
So this is feature-based retention. Now let's come to communication based retention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Classic is Zomato.
Yeah.
You know, and if you download Level Supermind, I think our writer Omkar, he does a fantastic job. I think he gives a good tucker to Zomato on the notifications.
Okay.
So-
aftertaste is very nice.
Yeah.
The marketing aftertaste is very nice. Whatever.
Got it.
Omkar is great. So communication retention, it comes to all your communication traction channel. Will be your email, will be your social media, will be your notification, will be your retention marketing channels. There's so many ways where you can position your resources for your user to remind them to come back.
Got
Best way is to figure out where they spend time in your user calling, where they generally spend time, and try to put all your resources around that so that you are on the top of the mind.
Got it.
So this
Perfect.
would include, if I had to break it down, it would include things like remarketing ads. It would include things like WhatsApp, perhaps in some cases SMS. So all of these are there. And then each of the retention marketing channels also have their own measurement frameworks.
Yeah.
So if the emailers are there, so you know what is the open rate of the emailer? That heavily depends on the subject line. And then the click to open rate. And then the activity done after the click to open rate. And then there's also, you know, one other place where retention marketing, or like the same principles of retention marketing play a role, is converting the free user to revenue based user.
How do you do that?
So like one of the things that we also got during the Appscale Academy was that the best apps in the world sometimes have a window of up to 7 months to convert a free user to a paid user.
7 months.
Yeah.
I'll give you specific stats. 60% of users who generally pay after 6 months in the app industry.
Interesting.
And it's not conventional thinking, right? Conventional
True.
thinking would be like 7-day free trial over, that user is not important for me.
Yeah.
But it's when you start seeing all of this data that you then start focusing that, look, actually I need to invest in telling that consumer stories throughout. Because also what's happening at the consumer's end is that I'm seeing these stories. I'm kind of building a sense of familiarity, a sense of trust, also staying power. Sometimes apps are new. So when I see it for 7 months means, oh, these guys are here to stay. So I will also convert. There could be a variety of factors which is then driving that.
Yeah. Be in their head for 7 months somehow. Yeah.
And then we need to look at things like LTV.
Okay.
Because then if the consumer...
Can you elaborate on the full form of LTV?
Lifetime value of that consumer. So then we also looked at lifetime value of apps. And some categories see lifetime value of up to 3 years. Some see 5 years. So, you know, where is it that we can add value to increase the lifetime value of our consumers? And then again, this loop of retention comes in. So, you know, you asked what framework do you study? Today at 75,000 paid subscribers with over 1 million downloads, one of the things we hyper prioritize is the premium daily active users. Because we want to make sure that our premium users are using our app more. Because if they use our app more, the likelihood of them converting for the next year
True.
is going to be higher. So each part of the product team has a different priority that they will be looking at. And ultimately, as the core people running the app, we need to then stagger all of these indexes and put even a priority list on them.
Got it. And all of this stems from Mom Test and Rise.
I mean, that was the start.
Yeah.
It stems from like saying, actually, Mom Test and Rise was what? The answer that framework is the answer.
Got it.
And then you pull framework 1, then you understand and cover framework 2, and so on and so on and so forth. So then that becomes a DNA and a culture of the way you're building the company. And if you're building a product-led company, framework has to be part of the culture.
Process, yeah. I think it also comes down who's on your leadership. We figure out. I mean, we have figured out. This is experience speaking, right? Half of the things might not be very structured in the...
This is very well structured, man.
Malab, we are, but we spend a lot of time to structure
I
it.
can understand the amount of time that you guys must have spent
Yeah.
to understand this entire space. Perfect.
The only value I feel like this discussion will add is that there's a lot of content out there on building a services company or building a YouTube channel. There's very little content out there on building a 0 to 1 product company bootstrapped.
Correct.
Yeah.
And these are some of the ways we've tried to figure it out.
Referrals, right?
Yeah.
Revenue and referrals. Revenue, is there something counterintuitive that I need to know about revenue part?
You need to start measuring the number of downloads to revenue. So, then again, there are benchmarks on that. So, like, for example, we are give or take somewhere 5% of downloads convert to revenue.
Okay.
Those are indicators of healthy product. Because if you have only like 1% or 0.5%, just how in e-commerce you have a conversion rate,
Yeah.
in product you'll need to have a download to subscription rate. So that is one thing that you look at. And then there are a variety of ways to take the consumer on a revenue journey. Because sometimes, and that's again something we learned with the, with the Google Appscale Academy, where we were shown the idea of in-app purchases. So it's like small micro consumption moments, which then lead to the annual subscription.
For example?
The most counterintuitive thing, there's always money on the table. You need to figure out how to monetize that. There's always money on the table, right? So this graph has like in the x-axis, the price, and the y-axis, x-axis the convert ratio and y-axis the price. Google taught us how do we, the area under the curve is the revenue of the entire business. For a given price, certain number of people convert, and for certain price, certain number of people convert. Crafting offers in such a way that you are able to monetize the entire area under the curve is a very high leverage skill, which we're developing also. It can be as simple as monthly, half yearly, yearly subscription, can be IAPs, like IAPs, in-app purchases, like just in the entire meditation.
Like an in-app purchase could be a beginner course.
Just
inside
one.
the app. Just one beginner
Microtransaction.
So it's a microtransaction. It may cost you 45 rupees versus a monthly subscription, maybe double that price. But it is an in-app purchase that is making you just transact on that one thing.
There can be 1%, 10% pricing structure. For example, a very high priced product, you can service type. Like inside the app, if you, for example, your case, if they want to meet you, they can pay high leverage and high money and they can come in. So the various ways to monetize the entire funnel, the picture captures it very nicely. And there are ways for each process, there's a way to do that.
Okay. So ये हो गया revenue. Then we come to referrals. How do you catalyze referrals?
Product.
See, referral is a strong indicator of sector and product both. Certain sectors mein people don't refer. Certain sectors mein people refer only if the product is good. So you need to understand which sector you are in, right? And the right matrix which we are optimizing right now is referral minus churn month one user. That means that
Referral minus churn.
For example,
So the number of users who recommended the app versus the users who went out of the app, there should be more people recommending the app than people exiting the app. We are not at the global ideal standard yet, and that is what we are optimizing for.
right.
So the global benchmark on referral minus churn is 5%. Which
On
is
monthly level.
On a monthly level. So then you see a compounded impact of that.
Yeah.
That 5% of people, there are 5% more people who recommend your app than people who exit the app.
Yeah. If you can optimize this funnel, the product becomes something called PLG, product-led growth. Now, when you put marketing, this becomes a bigger beast because, I mean, now this product will get its own user and you're feeding it through marketing to become bigger. So it becomes a very big loop.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is amazing, guys. So we've covered largely the product part. Is there anything else that you would want to tell me that I can't think of?
So we discuss a lot, right? So one is this PMF thing. Very beautiful thing we understood is something called traction market fit, TMF. Every product has certain traction channel which gets them higher return on investments.
Can you say that again?
Every traction channel, every funnel. So how you connect, how a new user enters your app is called a traction channel.
Okay.
Right? For example, in our case, it could be a Ranveer YouTube, can be Level YouTube, can be app ads, Google ads, can be Meta ads, can be multiple thousand ways to get users. Every product has a unique TMF. For example, there's a good marry of product and that traction channel. For us, we realized it's content and performance. That's it. Rest all is noise for us.
Content and performance.
Correct.
Got
so
it.
content helps us in
Credibility,
making the market hot, because the problem, as you said in the start, right? You don't believe in it. So content gives us that the education that we do through content makes the market hot. And then all the followers, I can reach out through ads specifically to them, retarget them, or if they have installed the app, I can use emails or different ways to reach out to them. So for our industry, we have to only focus for next 3 years only on content and performance, because that will increase revenue like 10x, 50x, 60x.
Amazing, guys. Now let me come to the last segment of this episode, which is about marketing, and we organically headed into that also.
Yeah.
Which is why I would like to elaborate. I would like you guys to elaborate on that further. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, mental health is a problem that is both identified and unidentified.
Yeah.
If it is identified, we know how to tap into it. My question is, A, are you tapping or are you trying to tap into the unidentified segment?
So it's easier for us on our marketing ROI to look at people for identified first.
Got it.
So at the top of the pyramid, we want to go after the one that is identified, because that's the easier problem to solve. Somebody who already knows that mental wellness is a priority for me, that I can solve through techniques and that I can solve through faith. If they're already there, our first right as a company is to convert them.
Is this market growing?
It is growing.
It will grow even more.
Why so?
So, two things. I think one thing which we fail to discount, today's generation which is growing up, I have a lot of empathy for users who face anxiety.
Okay.
One of the things we fail to understand is that we are constantly looking at screens. And we are looking at screen here, we're looking at screen there, everywhere. So we are, and the amount of information overload that we are looking at the screen also is significantly high. So even while we may not be doing something, we are processing. And the brain has finite capacity to process. So when we are processing, when we go about to do the thing that we're actually doing, we're like, hey, I'm tired. But actually, it's not that you're tired, but you've already processed so much. So a lot of these techniques that we have on the app are meant to, over long term, significantly increase your processing power. Fundamentally, it's about increasing processing power. It's about reducing distraction and increasing focus. And that we know that is what we get from our users. We had the other day a user come all the way from Vancouver. So he's a coach and he runs a services business, and he's a coach. And he coaches about 174 people in his category. There's a 54-member cohort of highly specialized people. All of them he's recommended, saying you guys have to use Level Supermind. And you guys have to use it every day. And it becomes one of the checkmark frameworks of his framework to be a successful person. So, that was great validation. We had somebody who, recently passed a CA exam on the 4th attempt. So he said 3 attempts, I tried to give my CA exam. I couldn't pass it. On the 4th attempt, he came with his mom to our office to say thanks to the team. On the 4th attempt, before the 4th attempt, I tried to undertake a meditation practice. I've been consistent on your app, like 8 to 9 months before the exam. I lost 35 kgs by working out on your app. My focus levels increased, and on my 4th attempt, I passed my CA. His mom said to us that the pricing that you guys have is so economically priced and accessible that for people who want to go to a gym, or people who want to really invest in a self-improvement process, a competition is not a gym, by the way. But what we are doing is we are catalyst to personal growth. And that's why we were also given in 2023, we were the best app of the year for Google Play.
Oh, wow.
In India, overall. And we were also the best app of the year in the personal growth category. So these were 2 accolades given to us, which were indications of consumers actually seeing these changes in their life. So a lot of our storytelling is around telling consumer stories.
That is amazing. So your storytelling and marketing fundamentally revolves around the testimonials. Yeah. And once you amplify those testimonials, you're able to get users very, very quickly. So again, the step-by-step process is, first of all, identify the consumer problem accurately, build a product for them, solve their problem, and use their testimonials to be able to grow further. The one thing that I would want you to elaborate on is the power of content for a brand. Now, I've been educating a lot of brands about how they can use content to grow their business. And it is perhaps the easiest and cost-effective form of marketing that you can do.
Yeah.
And in the long term, it actually becomes a revenue stream by itself, which then doesn't look like a cost in your books.
Yeah, we have 1.2 million visitors to our website every year through the written content marketing that we've done.
Written content marketing?
Yeah, written.
I think, it's 17 million per quarter.
17 million per quarter?
From
visits.
Our blogs
That's
get
page views,
yeah.
So it's unique visitors of 1.2 million. 17
million people are coming through written content. That's SEO. That's even more interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So 17 million people. So okay, now you've broadened my spectrum of content also. Content is not just YouTube. Content is written content. Number 2 is YouTube. In YouTube also we have two things. One is your Level ka YouTube channel and the other is Ranveer. Do we have any other channels?
Within
where-
YouTube, we break it into shorts and
Okay.
also the longer
And also
form.
Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
And
right?
Instagram and YouTube. Yeah.
Great. So the one thing that I often try to tell
And the
brands-
other aspect of content is also emailers.
emailers.
Because
Okay.
emailers also need to be written with user empathy.
Yeah.
It's very private.
Yeah.
Like there are cohortization possible.
So
you
like the
can-
notification at the night will come and say the other link to emailer is also notification, because the notification will say सो जाओ हर्षिल, उसका मैसेज वापस नहीं आने वाला.
Acha.
So listen
to
to
the
story.
sleep story. And we can cohortize that. For example, for a given age group, given location, send a specific notification in a specific language also. We can even, basis last activity done, send a specific notification. We are heavily using AI right now to build our notification journeys basis user behavior, so that no human has to. So we have a good database of what notification work for us. Putting a good AI layer on it, it's pumping out multiple notification on the go and sending out to the user at specific time of the day when they are trying to use the app more.
Which are the most important AI tools that you guys use?
Gemini.
Gemini.
And
It depends on the purpose. So we built our own internal tool for so one more unique thing we are doing is we are building AI mindfulness coach inside the
Yeah, we
app.
got a
So
personal
it's
coach
very
inside the
interesting.
app. Actually,
Yeah.
our vision is this, right? Like, if I just break it down, what we want to be is we want to be a personal coach and a guru in every pocket. This is where our roadmap is going really. One is, how can I know you well? Basis what I know well about you, what do I understand about your predispositions? What do I understand about the practices that you will enjoy? Are you a HIIT kind of guy in this phase in your life? Are you going to transition to a yoga kind of guy 2 years later? Kind of build models around that. And then basis that, I recommend a meditation journey for you. I recommend a sleep practice for you. I recommend a nutritional chart for you, as well as I recommend a workout plan for you. And at the same time, I understand a bit about you, like what are the books you like to read? What's the kind of wisdom that appeals to you? And then I have an AI sitting in my pocket which knows stuff about me, which knows, okay, if I'm going into a meeting and I'm likely to be facing a conflicting scenario, what should I do? This AI will have the ability to know you better and therefore respond back to you with your context.
Yeah.
And therefore build a personal growth program also for you. So it's like a bit of Q&A, bit of personal growth. That's really the vision that we are working on, so that each person can access and tap into the best version of themselves. So that's where the vision is going in terms of, the product development. What started off as, hey, let's just have people consume a few meditations.
yeah.
And through all of these frameworks, which as you can tell, Ayush is the king of those frameworks.
True.
To build out that to a journey that can take to a sense of true purpose for every user.
Got it. All of these things, have they been built on Gemini? Or is this your own AI model?
So we do have some custom elements of AI, if else logic, some other models also, which are open source and free. We do use multiple ways too, because we are bootstrapped still, so we are very cost efficient.
Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now let's come back to the YouTube marketing thing, guys. I want you to help me understand, or rather the brands understand, what is the power of YouTube marketing and how has it helped you? And lastly, what are the lessons that a brand must draw out of this conversation so that they can go and execute it?
Yeah. Actually we started YouTube. I should just tell you first that we started YouTube from the point of view of just building credibility and leverage. Because we are new to the space. We need to have a right to win. We need to be networked with the right people in the space. YouTube has been fantastic for us in terms of, even many of the content creators who we worked with on the platform have come first on the podcast. And then they become creators on the app. So it also helps build a sense of familiarity and trust. So our YouTube marketing is primarily podcast driven. It started with, there was an experiment that one of our teams was doing. We had started a B2B pod, like an experimentative B2B pod, where the idea was that how can we partner with psychologists to further forward sell level supermind. There was a thesis we were working on which we haven't really cracked, which we will at some point in time, called digital FMCG. Because we felt like, how FMCG has a bunch of retailers across, can we be digital FMCG and have distributed retailers? So like, can a trainer be my retailer? Can a psychologist be my retailer? Can a doctor be my retailer? So we were kind of working on that thesis. And then as we were calling psychologists, they were like, we don't even know who you are. So when that happened, we said, okay, what's the best way to do it is that you sit next to people who have high credibility in the space. When you sit next to people who have high credibility in the space, you can build credibility yourself. So we started inviting psychologists. Then if we were going down the space of faith, faith is such a personal and sacred subject. How can I trust you with faith?
True.
If I'm sitting with the pinnacle of faith opposite and asking the right questions and having some of the podcasts go viral, then I can have relevance. If I'm sitting with somebody who is talking, there's a UPSC exam aspirants are a big cohort for us. So if I'm talking to the foremost influencer in that space and making that podcast go viral, then that gives me my right to win.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was a lot of podcasting on YouTube was really credibility by association.
Yeah.
Got it. So what I can understand from this is that you also have a deep understanding of the subsets of users that you have and the pain points that they have or the points of skepticism that they might have.
Yeah.
Example being faith. And then you create content so that A, you can establish credibility, B, it helps you build a network, and C, when you are aware of the subset of your audience and you create content for them, it again helps you establish credibility for them, which helps you establish speed of trust.
Yeah.
And my last question is, whenever Ranveer makes a video, what kind of spike do you guys see?
So there are two ways to look at it. In the initial phase, it was huge.
Okay.
App crashed.
App crashed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we are building in a bootstrappy way, right? We can't have machine guns. So it crashes for 2, 3, 10, 15, 30 minutes. So that level of spike is also there. And then there's a way to...
There's a U-curve.
There's way to look at it, yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much, guys. This was a lot of input. And this is not just for the users. I almost felt like I'm getting like a mentoring session from you guys. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate two things about you guys. And this is something that hopefully you can take to other podcasts also, because this is liquid gold knowledge. A, the frameworks, because it gives very clear call to action to all the users to then go back and apply the lessons in their context. B, you have a very structured way of explaining everything, which also helps me understand a lot of things. And you are abbreviating a lot of things, which gives me very high recall value. And most importantly, you are also able to explain this in the context of not just your product, but also in the case of how other users can apply to their product using other examples, which is why I found it very, very interesting. I just hope everybody else also finds value in this, guys. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
We have one small request.
Yeah.
We would request everyone who wants to work with us, please write to us. We are building an ecosystem that is beyond whatever we are doing. We would love to have people who want to work very hard, want to build their own companies, want to become billionaires through ecosystem. We would love people to invite. Send us application for sure.
Perfect. I'll attach the email in the description.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.